guys, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the U.S. Well, today I'm starting off my 12 weeks of Fall and Halloween 2020. I did these a couple years ago and want to get started doing it again. And this time I make a little treat bag that features products from the Magic Is This Night Suite and the August to December 2020 mini catalog from Stampin' Up! You can find the dimensions for this treat bag plus the supply list by clicking the blog post link below in the video description. Now, you can purchase everything that I use to make this little treat bag except for the die cutting machine. Now, you don't have much longer to wait on that. You've got till September 1st. That's when you can start purchasing that. Now, if you want it before that, you might want to consider joining my team, and you can get it as part of your starter kit if you'd like. And you can also get it as in your first order. That way you can get it before September 1st. So if you're really excited and don't want to wait that long, I'd love for you to join my team. There's so many neat benefits. And you can look at the links I've got below about joining my team. Okay, are you ready to stamp with me? Let's get started. If you have any questions about this treat bag while I'm making it, please comment below and I'll answer your questions as soon as I can. Okay, let's get started. Okay, first up I want to show you the products I'm using from the Magic Is This Night Suite. Here's the Hallows Night Magic stamp set that's bundled with the Halloween magic dies. Really cute set. I love the stuff and the detail in these bats. Isn't that cool? Okay, so what I'm going to use, I'm going to be using these two dies and the bats. And those are all the dies I'll be using today. I'm also using this beautiful, oh I love this, metallic mesh ribbon. Now this is the first project I've used this on. Maybe if I lay it down there you might be able to see it a little better. I can't wait to use it on some other things. It will definitely not just be for Halloween. It is gorgeous. I'll be using some of that. And I'm also using the Iridescent Pearls. Aren't those gorgeous? I love the colors in that. So those are the products I'm using from the mini catalog. Okay, so let's get started making the box. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the paper trimmer. Now you can also use your Simply Scored scoring tool with this too. But I decided to use this for today. Making sure that my cutting blade, which is the dark one, is down here out of my way because I don't want to cut anything by accident. This is a scoring tool. You want to take a piece of Blackberry Bliss. This is 5.5 by 5 1/4. And you make sure that you have the 5.5 inch side along the top. I'm going to measure it, make sure I got the right one because there's only a 1/4 inch difference, so it's really easy to get the wrong one. So this is definitely the 5.5. And I want to score both ends at 1 1/4. So this one, I can get to 1 1/4 on this side. So that's where I'm going to line it up. Do that a couple times. Turn this completely around. So this one's on the left side. Line it up at 1 1/4 again. There we go. And the reason I do it, instead of measuring from here to here, I want to make sure these are both definitely 1 1/4. So if I happen to not cut this exactly the right size, at least these ends are the same size. That's a trick that I've learned. Now we're going to rotate it a 1/4 turn. So now the 5 1/4 inch is on the top. And you want to score both sides at 2 inches. So this only goes to 1 1/2. So now we're going to have to go over here. So I'm going to line this up with the 2 inch mark here. Go over it a couple times. Turn it completely around. 180 degrees. Line that up at the 2 inch mark again. And score that. And that is all the scoring you're going to need to do. Pretty simple. Now I'm going to grab my paper snips. And you see these little boxes here? These are going to make tabs. So I'm going to cut right along that score line, but then stop right at that first intersecting score line right there. So I'm going to do that on both ends. Okay, one thing I've learned when I've made boxes, you really don't want to keep this a square because when you go to put it together, some of these edges are going to be sticking up and you don't want that to happen. So we want to make this a little narrower. So I usually go in maybe about a 1/4 inch, something like around a 1/4 inch. Go at an angle and then you stop right up here in this top corner where those two score lines intersect. And that gives you a little bitty triangle and that takes a little notch out of there. And you want to do that on all the sides of your tabs. Okay, now the tabs are ready. I'm going to go ahead and do some burnishing here so that way I know all those score lines are going to fold when I'm ready to put this together. So whenever you do score lines, the valley is actually the outside. So I want to turn this over, and where the mountains are, that's going to be the inside of the folds. I know that's backwards, at least that's the backwards from what I used to think it was, but it does fold a whole lot better. You can do it from either way. but it does score a lot better, fold a lot better this way. So we've got all those done, and then we've got these 2 score lines. But this is a trick. Whenever you make a box, make sure you get all of those burnished, is what the term is called. Just fold them all and then unfold them again. That makes it so much easier when you go to put it together. Now, we're not going to start putting this together just yet because it's a lot easier to start stamping. So let's get ready to stamp some stuff. Okay, let's get going to that stamping. You need a piece of Whisper White cardstock, 4 by 4 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and stamp this this beauty. It's got some webs and flowers. Have to admit, I've never thought of putting flowers with webs, but it looks pretty cool. And I'm going to use my Tuxedo Black Memento pad. Get that inked up really well. And I'm going to stamp it down here near the bottom, like so. Hold that down a few seconds. That looks pretty good. Do have a little smudge there, but we're not going to worry about it. That's going to be fine. I'm going to grab the Happy Halloween with the Blackberry Bliss ink pad. Get that inked up. Looks pretty good. And I'm going to stamp this. I know that there's some room here, so it's okay if that rubber goes over these leaves just a little bit. I want to make sure it fits in. Hold that down for a few seconds. There we go. We've got Happy Halloween. And now I'm going to do a little bit of coloring here. I wanted to have a little more color to this. Oh, wait a minute. Let's hurry up and do these bats. There are the bats. We'll get this Tuxedo Black Memento out again. Get that inked up. And I'm going to stamp them right up here near the top. Make sure I've got room here. I'm going to angle them a little bit. There we go. I'll make sure I've got plenty of room to die cut these out. Isn't that cool? I love the detail on that. So neat. Okay, now to get that color I was talking about. I'm going to bring in my Cajun Craze Stampin' Blends and my Old Olive Stampin' Blends. Wherever the flowers are, where I want it to be darker, I'm going to be using the dark Cajun Craze. And just everywhere those lines are, since Stampin' Up did the work for me again, I'm just coloring wherever those dark lines are with the dark Cajun Craze. Okay, we've got all the dark done, so now I'm going to grab the light Cajun Craze and color in the rest of the flowers, and I'm going over the dark also because I want those to blend together. I'm just going to do it a little bit, and then I might have to go back because sometimes it just needs to soak in and dry, and I don't want to blend it too much, but if I still think it needs blending, I'll go back and blend some more. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, if I blended too much and took away too much dark, I could have gone back in and added a little more dark to it. That's one thing I love about the blends. Just keep playing with it till it looks the way you want it. Okay, now I've got the dark Old Olive, and wherever that little vein is, I'm putting the dark Old Olive. Okay, there's all the dark. And now we're going to color in the rest of the leaves with the light Old Olive. And one thing I forgot to say earlier, always use a very light touch. There's no reason to go hard because it actually ends up fraying your brush tip. Okay, that looks pretty good. And that's all the coloring I'm going to do. Now let's go ahead and bring the die cutting machine in. Oh, I take that back. I forgot. I did something really cool. I like these just being black, but I wanted to use my clear Wink Castella and shake this up. That's pretty good. And now I'm going to color over all of the both bats, just to make them glitter. So you just keep doing that until it looks just the way you want, and periodically shake it up again. And if you need to squeeze some out, you can squeeze I wouldn't squeeze hard, just squeeze a little bit to get a little more ink out if it's starting to dry up on you. There we go. Had a little trouble seeing with this light if I was getting it covered up, but it looks good. And it is okay if you go outside of the lines because we're going to be die cutting those. Okay, now we're ready to die cut. Now, one thing I want to let you know, when I was doing a video showing off this new embossing machine, I was wondering why this is moving around so easy, because when I made my original card, it didn't move at all. I'm going to tell you my little trick. This actually isn't wood. You can probably tell that. This is wallpaper, and it is super slick. When I had this on my desk, it didn't wobble at all. But because this is so slippery, those rubber feet can't hold on just because this surface is so slippery. So don't think that that's something that you're going to have a problem with this having to hold on to it. It really is my surface, because I checked it out on my desk, my wood table that I work on, my tables for my classes, and it didn't move around at all. So I just want to make sure you know that, because I'm sure it's going to move here as I work. Hopefully I can figure out a way to get that remedied when I do my videos. So let me grab this piece. I'm going to take the framed ones, we're going to take the smaller one, and you can see how there's a little curve here. There's a little curve in the web up there. You're just going to put this down like so. Can't wait till I get that magnetic platform, because it just want to wobble a little bit. But that's one good thing. September 1st, when this is available to customers, all of the mats will be available too. So go ahead and put this on. They line up very nicely. And I'm going to put this down so I can just lay it down, so hopefully it won't move on me. That looks pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and bring this through. Okay. Got those all die cut. Easy peasy. And then you want to take the, let's see, this one is the 4 3/4 by 5 3/4 Blackberry Bliss. And we are going to use this larger die here. Let's bring this back through. And we're going to die cut 2 of these. So, yeah, that will fit. It actually is better to do it lengthwise, or let's put it at an angle. I have found out that it doesn't pop as much if you do it at an angle. And it won't bend your die either. Just put it at a little bit of an angle. Okay. And see, even on this slippery surface, I'm able to keep this from moving too much. There we go. Because I even checked with my old die cutting machine, and it slipped too on this surface. I didn't do a lot of die cutting with it. But I want to show off the new one. That's why I'm die cutting now. Okay, so we've got everything die cut that we need. So let's get this out of the way. Okay. We are going to go ahead and attach this to the center here. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to bring it up a little bit. There are some really neat lines in here. I don't know. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, there we go. That looks a little better. So you can see the little grooves in that, and that's all the way around. I love that. So that's going to be the front, because the back side doesn't show it as well. So we're going to attach this. I'm going to use my regular seal. And that'll get stuck right in the center. Oops, I forgot a step. This would have looked really good, just the purple. But I decided, let me grab some paper here. I wanted to have some kind of a design on this background, not just be purple. So we're going to grab the tuxedo black again with this cute, not really cute, I'm being sarcastic, spider. He's kind of creepy looking. And we're going to stamp him. I could have done it with the Blackberry Bliss, but he wasn't showing up too well. And I really only need it near the edges. It's okay if the center doesn't get it, because we're going to be covering it up. Now the second one, though, is going to be for the back. So this one, we want to cover the whole thing, because I am not going to be putting any anything to cover it up. So this is what the back is going to look like. Just always kind of make a triangle. There is a smaller spider too, so if you want to use a smaller spider, you can definitely do that. Or even go back and forth through the different sizes. There we go, that looks pretty good. So now we've got that creepy spider on the back. Now we're ready to put this together. Let me get that lid on there. Okay, so this is the one that I had to let the center a little open. I've got my seal on here already. So we'll go ahead and put this on like so. Just get it centered. And the nice thing about the seal, if I don't get it completely centered, I can take it off and put it back on again for 10 minutes. But that looks really good. Okay, now I'm going to take this. I'm only going to put some seal here around the middle. And then it's going to go on. And see that little smudge I made? No big deal. I'm going to cover that up with my bat. Okay. And then this one, so that way too, I can kind of fold it up if I want to also. Bring this little guy in. And I'm going to use my black dimensionals, but use the mini ones. And I'll put it right there in the middle. grab my take your pick tool. There we go. And he's going to go right about here. Okay, so we've got the front all done. And now we will bring this in. It is a lot easier to decorate while it's still flat. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take my Seal Plus because I don't want this falling off at all. And as you can see, when I had that up there, we are completely covering that front section. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Seal Plus, that is, on here. I don't know if you can tell with this, but it does like little, looks like little bitty grooves. I think that's what makes it have such a good, that it adheres so well. So let's get that all lined up again. Like so. There we go. And that's the front of the box. We're going to turn this over again because this all gets folded like this. So that's why you want to make sure it's going this direction. So we want this to be the same way. So this will be the back. And like I said, I probably could just use the regular seal, but since this is going to be on the outside of the box, I don't want it falling off. So I've got my spiders going the right direction. Line it up exactly the way I did before. That the uppermost part of that curve needs to be up against the score line. And then these are hanging over a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but that kind of makes a little stand. And it does just fine that way. Okay, so now we're going to put this together. Go ahead and just fold these in. You could put adhesive on these little tabs, but you really don't need to. So I'm finding the spot that has the front. This is my front. So this is the one I want to put some of my Seal Plus on. So I'm going to do it like this. And let's go ahead and do this one too, because it's a little easier to put this on while it's still flat. Okay. Then I'm going to bring this up. And a neat thing I found out about this too, this will come off if you mess it up. When you use the tearing tape, it doesn't come off as easy. This is going to do just like this other seal did. And I'm making sure I line the top edges together. And then I know everything else is going to line up just fine. There we go. So there's that side. And I will do the same with this. Just always make sure that that tab is in. Go line this up. Make sure those top. You can line up the bottoms too, whichever. If you line up the tops, you know you've got your bottoms lined up. There is the actual box. Isn't that cute? And see how easy that was? Super easy. You could whip some of these out pretty quick. Okay, now we're going to put a handle on it though. So this is another piece of Blackberry Bliss. It is 8.5 by 1. And I want it to have a nice curve. So what I do, I take my bone folder, and it's kind of like that ribbon that you can get that you can make it curl. Just put this across here and rub it between your thumb and the bone folder. And that breaks the fibers up. And see how it made that nice curve? I love doing that. Okay, now I'm going to be putting some seal. Now, do it on the outside. I'm going to put some of the Seal Plus. Now, I'm going to do 2 different strips because I want to make sure it's on there good. So put 2 strips right next to each other. You do it here on this side too. Like I said, just a little easier to do while it's flat. Oops. Ooh, I flipped that off of there. That's my fault. I made too big of a check. Okay, so now we're ready. This is just going to go on, and you want to center it from the top to bottom. Just get right there in the center. That looks pretty good, and then pinch it together. Bring this around and do the same thing here. And that seal is going to hold that on no problem. Oops, get my finger out of the way. There we go. So now we've got a nice little handle. And I could have stopped there, but I thought, oh, we need some more. We are going to bring in these pearls. And I decided to put one on each end. It just kind of finishes it off. I love the different colors in this. I mean, sometimes you can see green, sometimes you see purple, blues. Just so pretty. And that one's going to go right there. But we're not finished yet. We're real close though. Grabbing it, this is about an 18-inch piece of that metallic mesh ribbon. And we're going to tie this on with a bow. Do it like this. Bring this up. kind of flatten it out again because it looks like I gathered it up a little bit, which is still good. It looks pretty cool when you when it gathers too. Bring this around and then play around with it and get my tail down here. Just keep playing with it till it looks good to you. That's one thing with my bows. I end up playing with them quite a bit till it looks the way I want it. That's pretty good. Now this tail is a lot longer than I need it to be. So I'm going to grab my scissors, cut that off, and we are ready to go. Well, that's it. I hope you had fun making this. This is my first 12 weeks of fall and Halloween for 2020, and I'll be back again next week. It'll be every Tuesday at 3 p.m. is when I'll upload the video. That's 3 p.m. Eastern time, that is. And I will have a new video, and if you don't want to miss any of my upcoming videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel and click that little bell icon and select all. That way YouTube will notify you every time I do a video. You can also follow me and see my other creations on my blog at www.createwithchristy.com, Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, and you can find the links below in the video description. Now, if you live in the United States and don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be yours. If you don't have any catalogs, and here are the current catalogs right now, the annual catalog and the August to December mini catalog, just click my Contact Me link below in the description, and I will get these mailed out to you right away. And don't forget about that Doily Rewards program. That link is below too. Well, it's time to go. Please help support my channel by giving me a thumbs up and commenting below. I really, really do appreciate it. See you in the next video.